Ready to go? All right. Welcome to the September 24th, 2020 City Council meeting. The recording is in process. We're on YouTube and also recorded, so at your leisure, you can watch this again if you'd like. So with that, please join me in the flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Caitlin, can we have a roll call?
Of course. Councilmember Tadgett. Councilmember Donahue.
Present.
Councilmember Jorstad. Here. Councilmember Daughtry.
Present.
Councilmember Peters Hagen.
Present?
Councilmember Shipman.
Present.
Councilmember Ewing.
Present.
Can we have a motion to excuse Councilmember Tadgett?
Move to excuse Councilmember Tadgett. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Councilmember Tadgett is excused. With that, Council Vice President Donahue, can we work on the agenda here for approval?
Yes, so as I understand it, we have two changes to the agenda. We are striking discussion item 13A. And then I believe we are adding an action item to discuss the Axon Taser contract. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, can I please get a motion?
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, you have an agenda.
All right, great. Thank you. With that, let's move on to guest business. Introduction of Police Officer Amanda Van Hook. Chief Bezzo.
Good evening, Council President and Council. I'd like to introduce our newest officer, Amanda Van Hook, who started with us on September 17th, 2024. Amanda grew up in Clearview, Washington, attending Archbishop Murphy High School, and is a banking and administration professional who's known for her customer-centric approach and diligence. She has 15 years of experience in the banking industry, both in retail and branch management and back office operations. She started her career with the Chase Bank and has worked with both large banks and local banks during her career. Aside from her professional career, she's a certified spin instructor and spent many years teaching indoor cycle classes here at Team Fitness before she moved to Mukilteo. Why? I don't know. Amanda is passionate about involving herself in the community. She's a current board member of the Clothes for Kids, a nonprofit in Linwood, where she is enthusiastic with helping that organization thrive and providing wardrobes for kids to low-income families in the community at no cost. Prior to that, she was a board member for Prevail, a nonprofit organization providing support to people with disabilities for them to fulfill their life choices. Amanda is married to Troy Van Hook, who she'll introduce shortly, who is in the HVAC business. They have been married for 9 years and live in Mukilteo, along with Troy's son, Braden, good golfer, and her dog, Freddie. Most weekends she can be found on the golf course with her family and her son's biggest cheerleader, watching her son make the varsity golf team as a freshman. In addition to golfing, Amanda has a passion for health and fitness, staying active by working out daily. She even had her husband build her a full gym, complete with a cold plunge in their home. Knowing that she will need to advance her skills, she joined Gracious Jiu-Jitsu studio with her son so they could become proficient and practice together. Police work has always been something she has been inspired to get into. Growing up, she had a great uncle who worked with the Seattle Police Department, and she remembers being amazed at the work, the stories, and the inspiration he was to others. His life was cut short by an on-duty accident, and Amanda is looking to carry his legacy and make as big of an impact here in Lake Stevens as she begins her career in law enforcement. She is scheduled to go to the academy November 19th. What we're hoping is a lease just got signed and we're doing the ribbon cutting on October 22nd for the Northwest Regional Academy. So she may have to go move the furniture in so she can have the academy. So she's willing to do that, she said. So this is Amanda Van Hook, introduced. So now you get to introduce part of your family here. So everybody is here. This is half the audience.
The whole family came tonight. So my husband and son right here in the back, and all my mom and dad and mother-in-law, also and brother-in-law are here. That's why, and grandma. Grandma even came.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
And Dad told me to say he's actually the brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Next up, oath of office for Police Officer Austin Hogan.
Austin, come forward. So this is a great privilege. Austin was hired back in February, as you all know. He got to wait to go to the academy, but he got an offer that we could not resist. He lived in Ellensburg at the time with his wife Shelby. They were just got out of Central Washington University. He calls up and asks Jim Barnes. He says, "Hey, I just got notice I could go to Spokane. Can I go?" Was it about 10 miles difference between Spokane, going to the academy there, and CJTC? So we said, yes, go. So he went over, he accelerated in the academy. He came out number 1 overall and number 2 academically, and he was a squad leader. So this shows the leadership ability that Austin has, and we're just grateful to have him here. So he graduated on the 10th of this month. We got to go over and celebrate his graduation. I swore him in at the time, but now it's Gary's turn to swear you in. So Austin, congratulations, great work. We're also great. His wife just started Monday at Snow 901, is going to go to the academy. So now they get to outdo each other, and they moved here on Soper Hill Road. So we're even more excited. Council President, if you could swear him in, that'd be great. Oh, yes.
What's that? Yeah, okay. With that, it's my pleasure to swear you in as Police Officer Lake Stevens. So repeat after me, if you would. I, Austin Hogan,
I, Austin Hogan,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
and defend the Constitution and laws
and defend the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
the ordinances of the city of Lake Stevens,
the ordinances of the city of Lake Stevens,
and the mission and regulations of the Lake Stevens Police Department.
and the missions and regulations of the Lake Stevens Police Department,
And that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially perform
and impartially perform
and discharge the duties of a Lake Stevens police officer
and discharge the duties of a Lake Stevens police officer
according to law and to the best of my ability.
according to law and the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
So this is very exciting with Austin coming back and the 4 other people. We have a full patrol squad now. Now we have to just get a detective and a traffic officer, which we're working on also. So right now I've got 2 laterals in background, and I have a couple entry levels we're working on. So we're getting close. Thank you for all your support.
Okay, great. Let's move on here. Citizens' comments.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah. We jumped ahead. Sorry.
They would have been so disappointed if they had to come back for a second. Come on up. All right, first I'm going to introduce Chancey. Chancey is our parks maintenance lead. He was hired about 2 months ago. He has a very versatile background ranging from military, firefighting, freight train engineering, HVAC, and the parks industry. He thinks of himself as having a go-getter mentality and likes to hit the ground running, which is proven. Many projects have already advanced along since he has hit the ground running here. He is a local and has lived in Lake Stevens since 2017. His family includes 4 kids ranging from ages 19 to 4. They enjoy hiking and adventuring whenever they can and are big fans of the Mountain Loop Highway and have hiked many of the trails. His wife and he have also enjoyed hiking Mount Pilchuck and Mailbox. He's super thankful for the opportunity to work for Lake Stevens and provide for the community that he and his family are invested in and will be for many years. Welcome, Chancey. The next employee we have is Joel. Joel Langley was hired about 5 weeks ago as a parks maintenance worker. Prior to this job, he spent 26 years in the construction industry. The last 19 of those years were in demolition. He joined the Locals 292 Labor Union and went through their apprenticeship program. After successfully completing that program, he became a foreman and started running jobs for companies. He's happy to have this opportunity to join the Parks Department and is looking forward to learning new skills and sharing his knowledge with the younger generation. He loves camping, boating, fishing, and spending time with friends and family. He also appreciates joining our department and being a member of our team. Welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. Apologize for skipping over you there. With that, we'll jump down to citizens' comments. Do we have anyone online that is raising their hand to speak to the council?
Anyone online that would like to speak to council, just raise your digital hand and I'll bring you in. I don't see anyone and we don't have any green slips either.
Okay, no one. Okay. All right, council business. How about if we start down there with Councilmember Ewing?
I know it's already been made public, but on the 2nd of October at 6:30 at Lake Stevens Middle School is the bond presentation for this Lake Stevens School District for all those who want to. And they also have a remote attending option for those who would like to participate. So they'll provide good information for those who wish to support that.
Anything else? Okay. Councilmember Jorstad?
Thank you. I wasn't able to be here last week, so this is my first meeting back since attending the Public Works Expo at the beginning of September. I want to just thank Director Halverson for answering all of my really dumb questions. I was amazed at the diversity of work that our Public Works Department does that is represented by Public Works nationwide. I went to several workshops, got to see Director Halverson present at a workshop on accreditation. I just would urge fellow council members, if you haven't ever had a chance to go, highly recommend. It was a real learning opportunity. I have just a newfound respect for our Public Works Department and the work that they do every day to keep our city running, and just really appreciated the opportunity to go. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Shipman?
I attended the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Snow Isle Library last week. The weather held out. It was a beautiful day and there was a good turnout. Took a lot of people to put this together. And it was nice to hear from different representatives from all the various groups. It definitely was a group endeavor getting it this far. So it was exciting to see it continue to move forward.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Donahue?
Yes, thank you. I attended the Planning Commission meeting and we continued to go over the draft comprehensive plan. I just wanted to note that we've received feedback from many of the partner agencies in our area, all at a high level, very positive feedback. And then I just wanted to note that the public hearing for the Planning Commission regarding the comprehensive plan is on October 2nd. That will be regarding their recommendation to us as a council. And then I believe our public hearing is scheduled for October 22nd. So I just want to note that for anybody who's interested, I highly urge you to go to the city website and look that over. And please provide any feedback if you feel inclined. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Daughtry?
I was supposed to go to the skit meeting today via Teams, and for some reason I wasn't able to get in. Although every time they did a chat, I got it. So that was really weird. So I missed that one. And other than that, I don't have anything else to talk about.
Okay, great. I attended the groundbreaking today with Melissa Place up at the Soper Hill there, right east of Starbucks. We have 141 unit assisted living essentially, or facility that's under construction. They're getting ready to pour footing. So that is actively going. As I understand it, we have another 180 some units that is right next door to that. That's going to be in for building permit. So probably in the next few months. A lot of activity. It's like, wow. I mean, a lot. So it's nice to see all that activity up there. And then also just checking, we do have a utility committee meeting with the sewer district tomorrow. Is the mayor going to be in attendance at that?
He will not be in attendance. He's out at the conference. Yeah.
So Ryan, it's you and me. Okay. All right. With that, let's just jump down to Public Works Director Halverson, Public Works Department report.
Thank you, Councilmember Peter Shagan. Good evening, council. I have a brief department report. There were a few items that were unresolved from previous meetings, and I wanted to make sure to close the loop. So first, in the department report, we had some questions about long line striping. As you'll see in the report, there's a brief description of locations and priorities, but the summary is 40 crosswalks were striped. I think that was the main question. How many crosswalks are we striping in the city, across the city? Well, we did 40 this year. It's a lot. I know there are more to do. I'd love to do more of them near schools. I'd love to do some on Main Street. That's going to happen as part of that project. But as you drive around the city, I hope you're noticing some striping and some crosswalks that are now much brighter and easier to recognize. I walk the Centennial Trail, and we recently striped two crossings on the Centennial Trail, 20th Street and I believe 16th Street. So if you're going toward Machias, you'll see that. Anyway, the second part, there's a map on the second page that shows the locations throughout the city and some examples, photographs that are examples. And then I'll give you a brief update on the downtown sewer project. We actually met with them today and talked about the issues they're having. They really have two viable solutions. They have groundwater intrusion. They have a lot of sand and peat that's intruding that they're having trouble containing, and they simply aren't able to construct according to their original plan. Their original plan had them sort of suspending the culverts that convey the stream channel at 20th Street near the apartments there. If you're familiar with that low spot, there are two culvert pipes there, and basically digging under it to put their pipe in. They cannot do that with traditional methods. And so they've proposed two options. We talked through them. We're going to do some work with Fish and Wildlife this week and see which one is going to work. And they'll begin to advance the solution as soon as they have that outcome. Right now, we said, when is this road going to be open again? And it's kind of hard to say, but currently they're targeting November 1st to have it open. So another month plus. So we're obviously keeping an eye on it and coordinating closely. We're really trying to treat them a little bit more like a partner in this process. So we're trying to bring solutions and ideas and give them what they need to be successful. I think it's exceptional service for them. And we're going to continue to do that because it sets a good example for us and for the partnerships we want to create. Any questions? I'm open to questions. Yeah, Councilmember Daughtry.
Looking at your page 3 of 3 here in your report, I might not understand something here. What is the significance of two white lines next to each other? I've never seen that before.
Great question. I think that the idea is that is to designate that as a bike lane, but I'll get the, why don't I do this? I'll get you the engineering answer when I have it.
Okay. Well, I did notice that it has a traffic calming effect. Because I drove down it and several people were having a little bit of a, wow, what's this? So they were slowing down.
Okay.
So that was impressive.
Good.
It's the only thing I've seen anything slow down for around here.
Okay. Any other
I
questions?
just wanted to thank you for focusing on the crosswalks. I have noticed them around town. They look great. The striping looks great. Some new asphalt's been laid. Definitely looking good. Thank you. And then I did have one question about the sewer project on 20th Street or that going there. That's just right down the hill from Mount Pilchuck, correct? The elementary school?
Yes.
That's
Is that
correct.
what, is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
And so what has the impact been on parents picking up and dropping off their kids at Mount Pilchuck Elementary?
Councilmember Shipman, I don't necessarily have an answer for you. Can I get back to you on that? I've observed the patterns myself. It seems like it's working okay, but I certainly wouldn't want to speak for them. I'm sure that they have some feedback. So let me get.
And
their-
the school
their
buses
take on
as
that.
well.
Yeah, right.
You know, are they have an alternative route? You know, how is that impacting them?
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
But I just noticed I went by that site on Friday and saw the sign said it was the 27th of September is when the project would be completed.
Mhm.
So that might be helpful to update that information so that there aren't people like me that think that, wow, they've got a lot of work to do in the next 3 days.
We talked about that today. We
So
talked
really
about that
robust
today.
schedule there.
For sure.
I do appreciate the one that I noticed probably that stood out to me the most throughout the city was the one by Target. Because there are a lot of people that cross there, especially the 9 months where it's dark and wet. And so I've seen a lot of close calls on that intersection there. And I know there's mixed views on whether those actually do anything for traffic safety. A lot of the data I've looked at suggests that there is a significant impact on safety.
Mhm.
Anyway, thanks for the work on that. I do have a question. I apologize for not putting you on the spot. I'm curious what the budget for the striping and thermoplastic work, how this year's compares to previous years, because it seems to me, just in my observation, there's significantly more work taking place this year. I don't know if that's a result of the TBD or if there's other reasons why there seems to be more work done this year than previous years. So don't answer the question because you don't have, if you can get back to us, that would be awesome.
I'd be happy to do that.
Any other questions?
Just also, I was going to say, when it comes to the project on 20th Street, are we reaching out to the school district, to our school board and letting them know kind of general idea of, I mean, it's booked out to November now, you know, just how long it's going to affect their traffic? Are we keeping them in the loop?
Yes, yeah, that's a requirement that the contractor keeps the school district, the post office, community transit informed on road closures.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron, for that report. It's just nice to see kind of freshening things up around the city with some new striping and so forth. So appreciate that. So with that, we have a consent agenda. Can I get approval for those 4 items A through D?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of approving consent agenda items A through D?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. We jump into a public hearing. And I apologize, Caitlin, you sent me something. I don't know where it went. So with that, we do have a 20th Street Northeast right-of-way vacation, proposed ordinance number 1183. And who, Melissa, are you taking this for us?
Thank you. Good evening, council.
Melissa Place, Principal Planner at the city. And this evening for your consideration is a public hearing on a right-of-way vacation on 20th Street and also portions of Grade Road. I am in place of Director Wright this evening as he is absent this week out of office. And then Aaron Halverson, Public Works Director, is here, who's also been part of this project and together we can try and answer any questions you might have at the end. I have a very brief presentation to go through. So this is really a joint effort between the City of Lake Stevens and North Cove LLC. North Cove LLC is a private development project that is on the corner of 20th Street and Grade Road. The city has proposed a roundabout project at Main Street and 20th, and North Cove has proposed a private mixed-use development at that northwest corner. So this evening, there is concurrent vacations and dedications that affect portions of both roads. This evening's focused mostly on the vacation, but I do have a summary table included in the staff report that summarizes some of the dedications as well that are concurring. The applicant is North Cove LLC. A right-of-way vacation is a type 5 process per our municipal code with a required public meeting, a required public hearing, and a city council decision. We held the public meeting back in March of 14th of this year, and we didn't have any members of the public attend. And then we were to hold the public meeting back in March, but we did postpone it because there was a traffic impact fee agreement that we were negotiating with the developer. So that traffic impact fee agreement has now been signed and we can hold the public hearing. So that's why we're moving forward with it now in September. This is a map showing the 20th Street Northeast vacation area. So you can see it's just the hatched area is showing where it's proposed to be vacated. It's roughly 484 square feet on parcel 603 and then 84 square feet on parcel 606. And then the grade road vacation is this tiny little triangle that you can see on the left side. On the right side is an inset map showing you it's 88 square feet. Those are the three areas of vacation that are proposed as under this application. Here's a table that I was talking about. This is a summary of the dedication and vacation that's on each by each parcel. So in the left hand, you see the parcel number and then the dedication amount. That's all in square footage. And the vacation amount. What really is the focus here is the totals. You can see at the total at the bottom, the dedication amount is 9,076 square feet. That is what the applicant is proposing to dedicate to the city as part of the project. And then in return, the city would vacate 656 square feet. That's on the right-hand side. So those are the two biggie to take away from this slide. And then this particular map shows, this is attachment 4 to the staff report. This is a figure that the applicant provided to the city that shows the configuration of the roundabout at that intersection, the additional right-of-way area that is needed by the city to complete our roundabout project. So that's in red. The green hatching is non-dedicated right-of-way, and then the blue is the right-of-way vacation areas I just had zoomed in on the maps prior. We do have criteria in our code for right-of-way vacation. So per Chapter 1416C095, it has a series of criteria for a decision for the council. The first criteria is if it's near a fresh water body. In this particular case, this property does not abut the lake or a body of water. The second criteria has I through 5, and it goes, does it provide a public benefit or purpose? In this case, it will provide the needed right-of-way for the city's roundabout project. The next criteria is, does it adversely affect the street pattern or circulation in the community? Oops, let me go back. It will benefit the circulation in the area and the community as a whole. And then the last one is, the public need shall not be adversely affected. In this instance, it's also going to benefit the public, so it would not adversely affect the public need. Couple more criteria is the right-of-way contemplated for future use by the city? In this case, the vacated portion that we showed in those maps is not needed for the city for the future roundabout. And then one of the criteria is making sure we don't landlock any particular parcel or impair access to a particular abutting landowner. And then we looked at this, and the vacated right-of-way was not going to affect nearby property owners or impair or landlock access. And the last criteria is that council is to determine the amount of compensation to be paid the city as a condition of vacation. We had talked about this in the staff report, and then the summary is going back to that table. There's 9,076 square feet to be dedicated, 656 square feet to be vacated. And because the proposed dedication exceeds that vacation, there's no compensation determined to be needed by the city to pay the applicant for that. So in summary, our recommendation to you tonight is to hold the public hearing and then to approve the right-of-way vacation by adoption of ordinance number 1183, which is attachment 1 to the staff report this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Yes, Councilmember Jorstad.
Great information. Do we know, and can you share with us where that 9,000 square foot dedication is located?
I can. I'm trying to, if this map, if you can see, there are areas that are hatched that are not colored. So if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're dark hatching, and that's some of the areas that would be dedicated. And I have specific maps that were attached as part of this. And I'm sorry, they weren't included in the staff report. I can pull them up, but it goes through it. They're basically survey maps. And what would happen is those would be recorded at the county once this occurs. And so those would be dedicated. But it's all of those areas in gray, and they have their own little separate maps depending on which parcel they're on.
Okay, that's helpful.
Okay, thank you.
One other question, just mostly curiosity. I know when there was initial conversation around the planned roundabout and the planned development, there's also talk about trying to coordinate the fire station rebuild sort of at the same time. I'm curious if that's still in the works or possible or not possible, or do we know?
My understanding is there's still discussions. I'm going to defer that to Aaron Halverson to see if he has further information.
have an update?
Sure, yeah, Councilmember Jorstad, we are working with the fire station as they're rebuilding their the fire department or Snohomish Regional Fire and Rescue, got it? As they're rebuilding their station there. In fact, we're going to try to enable them to use a city property as a temporary fire station. And you're right, it's all tied to this project because we need a vault to handle the additional stormwater. And they've signed an agreement with us so that we can construct a vault on their property that would serve this development, our roundabout, and their improvements
That's
as
great.
well. Honestly, this is a really great sort of three-way collaboration between us, a developer, and the fire district. And so what you have in front of you is kind of three different things happening, but it's the way I imagine development should go in an ideal state, especially downtown, and it's happening.
That's great. I'm thrilled to hear that. I know initially there were some real potential efficiencies that could be found if the three partners could figure out how to kind of work in conjunction. I know that that's tricky. So I'm glad to hear that that's still moving forward.
Yeah.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to, did you have a question, Ryan? No? Okay. At this point, I'd like to open the public hearing for the purpose of taking public testimony and over the applicant speaking on behalf of the ordinance. If anyone wishes, if they would step forward. Mr. Bill Walk. LD. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. So my name's Mark Philwalk, and I represent the developer. And so just want to just say a big thank you to city staff. I think this has been a very collaborative process. And I think the city is definitely the winner in this in getting the right of way you need to build that roundabout. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have, but I think staff did a great job in kind of explaining what's before you tonight. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Does this solve the chicken drive-in traffic problem?
I don't.
That is an unfair question.
A lot of work went into just the initial layout of the roundabout to ensure, that we weren't encroaching into the chicken drive-in more than needed. And so, it's definitely, kind of shifted towards our site, the roundabout more so to kind of preserve, the chicken drive-in so we wouldn't be encroaching
Okay, great.
any more than we needed to. So,
Good to hear. Thank you.
yeah.
Anyone else in the audience care to testify? Do we have anyone online that has raised their hands?
Anyone in the audience who'd like to participate in the public hearing, just raise your digital hand and I'll bring you in. Nope.
No? Okay, great. At this point, I will close the public hearing, having heard no other testimony. So with that, council, please deliberate on ordinance 1183.
So I'll move to approve ordinance 1183.
I'll second.
The second, first and a second on approving ordinance number 1183 for the purpose of right-of-way vacation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have an approved ordinance 1183. Thank you. Action items. Department of Commerce Salmonoid Recovery Grant, Olin Anderson. Is Olin here
Good
tonight?
evening.
Oh, there he
I'm
is.
here online today. If that's okay. Good evening, council. Thank you for hearing about our proposal here that was awarded from the Department of Commerce, a grant award for planning in the needs of the city and actually the surrounding areas as well, but focusing on the drainage basins that all lead or go from the city to outside areas and waters. So that includes EB Slough, Lake Stevens, and downstream to Catherine Creek and Little Pilchuck Creek, and ultimately the Snohomish River. And of course, Puget Sound. So this grant is focused on salmon habitat, and they wanted to see how folks might establish changes to planning products that are already out there, like comprehensive plans and other large scale plans, through looking at a lens of what might be going on for impacts to salmon and habitat issues at a basin level. So as working in the surface water division as the surface water coordinator, we've talked on these topics quite a bit, and we have put together a map of the basins of the city, and I'll share that real quick so you see that. And here we go. And so here is Lake Stevens and the various small creeks that flow out of it or into the lake, and it's not the entire watershed of these creeks. As you see, Upper Stevens Creek and Lundeen Creek at the north end of the map here extend off-site. They actually go into a little bit of Marysville after crossing through Snohomish County. We also have portions of Snohomish County along the west side here and then along the south and the east sides. So these basins are important. We have some really great salmon runs that go up the Little Pilchuck River and up Catherine Creek. So this plan will actually look at a variety of issues and start off with an approach to assess the various conditions in the watershed. And we'll prepare a watershed management plan that integrates the drainage basin issues with planned elements of the Lake Stevens Comprehensive Plan and try to restore salmon habitat within city planning decisions and support that with planning maps, goals, and objectives that can be thought about and folded into the plans, like the comprehensive plan. And the comprehensive plan, of course, is multiple sections, so it would have to be piecemealed out. It's not something the Surface Water Division is planning on doing alone. We have a lot of coordination worked into our work plan here, and it's a fairly long and involved process. It's about a 2.5-year project. The grant itself is up to 3 years. They say there may be an extension for another 2 years, which I've put in a request for, and we may get that, I'm not sure. But the overall goal at this point is to develop the base materials that will better understand the natural resources and drainages of the city, and then incorporate these into planning decisions. So as a result of coordinating with the Department of Commerce on the award, we learned that it has to be broken down into 2 bits. And the total grant award is quite large. I think 247,000 I think is about what the dollar amount is. And so the first phase just ends at the end of the first biennium. That's a state funding cycle, and all work would need to be completed by June 30th, 2025. So the grant funded portion for that is about $45,000, which we would execute right away and gain a contractor to begin doing the analysis and start the outreach. We expect to get the remaining funds. They informed us that the funding mechanisms that they have are not necessarily predictable right now, and so they have several piles of funding sources available for us. So if the main one, which we've been getting this first phase, was with the climate action funding, if that's not available in the next biennium, they'll use another source to continue the project and finish it out. So that's part of the reason why it's broken into 2 phases. We expect to be going into contract negotiations immediately towards, mid-spring or late spring to kind of finish this up and have another meeting to present the rest of the project, which is already all figured out here. So at this point, we're going to be requesting approval of this contract that we have prepared with the Department of Commerce for the first biennium period of $44,809, and looking to continue on. Already we've done a whole bunch of coordination and outreach in the planning department, the parks department, City of Marysville, Snohomish County, plan on reaching out to WashDOT soon. And we'll be folding them in and then getting that contractor, we hope by the end of the year, entering into a contract with them at the first of the year. I'm open for any questions if you have any at this time.
Oh, and I'm not sure you can answer this question, and if you can't, then that's fine. I'll get with Barb and ask her. Reading through this, I've actually never read through a Department of Commerce grant thing before, and it's pretty intensive.
Yeah, this effort's multifaceted.
Bugs me though is see if I can find it, make sure I'm on the right page. It's all of the insurance requirements. No, I can't find it. Oh, insurance, number 6. Yeah. So we're getting a grant of $44,000. How much is all that insurance costing us? Like I said, you might not know the answer to that. And that's
I don't have the answer to that yet. Yeah.
okay. So I'm gonna need to have that answered by, I guess, Barb. Is that who I would go to on that? Anybody? There's a lot of crickets in here.
I will, I mean, I think it would be good to get the number and that insurance coverage, if we've done any business with the state before, whether it's commerce or other departments, it's pretty standard that they have insurance liability amounts that are similar. So my guess would be we're not adding anything that we don't already have, but I do think it would be good to get.
Yeah, 1 million is pretty standard. In fact, 2 million.
Okay, so are these additional insurances?
No,
we have
no,
to
no.
get, or is it an insurance covered by our?
Right,
normal
and then
insurance?
whoever we contract with to do the work, we're gonna want to make sure.
Well, that's
they-
also
they
stipulated.
They also meet these insurance requirements, yes.
So we're not having to buy more
No,
insurance?
no.
Just to have for this grant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I withdraw my question.
Okay. That's an interesting question, and I'm glad you asked.
I really didn't mean to, put you on the spot, Owen, really, I didn't.
No, that makes,
Just-
appreciate it.
It's gonna cost about $40,000 just for the insurance.
I'm going to jump in for a second. Maybe Public Works Director Halverson can help us out. And this kind of relates back to the discussion of the weir. And so I guess maybe I misunderstood something, but in all the discussions that took place with the weir and the outfall, I thought the tribes had stated that basically the outfall, they would maybe not prefer, but it would dry up. Therefore, there are no salmon runs into Lake Stevens. Did I misunderstand that? And so I guess the question is, why are we doing a salmon habitat plan if we don't have any salmon in the lake?
I'm sorry. Councilmember Peter Shagan, that's a great question. And I'm laughing at the concept that there are no salmon in the channel. If you go to the channel right now, you might see a coho that's trying to spawn. So it is a bit absurd. We're driving.
Salmon do move through.
We're driving through that issue, and this is an NPDES requirement that we plan on a watershed basis for water quality improvements that affect aquatic organisms. And so we're trying to do that despite this sort of political issue, somewhat political issue that we're.
So did I misunderstand something though, in regards to the discussion with the tribes and the outfall?
No, I think the tribe's argument is that historically, it's likely that the outlet of Lake Stevens dries up. And during that time, there's no fish passage in portions of the channel, and there's some ponding and stranding that happens with fish. And they're okay with that, which is kind of counterintuitive, but I also have somehow learned to accept that, I suppose.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I see we have Shannon online here. Do you have anything to
Shannon
add?
might want to say something about that. In addition.
No, I just am available. So I just wanted to clarify that, yes, the grant is specifically tailored towards salmon habitat, but the nexus that we're really interested in is to water quality. And so when we look at this grant and we look at it as a term of water quality, and we start to look at it as how are we maintaining the basins within the city, and that really directly relates to stormwater, and that relates to planning decisions. That's kind of the nexus there. You know, it's not it's a salmon grant, salmon centric grant, but really our nexus is how do we look at these basins and how do we better understand these basins so that we can make decisions and policies, and we can tie it to how are we managing our stormwater system and other infrastructure to provide the benefit to the water quality, which then in turn benefits salmon habitat.
I appreciate those comments. That helps out a lot. So thank you.
Yeah.
One final comment in this effort. It directly relates to the emerging science that's come out about tire particles that contain the 6-ppd quinone, which is known to cause the urban death syndrome of coho that are trying to migrate. And so it's a question of like, where are those hotspots? And potentially this sort of study might lead to that kind of information. It doesn't promise to deliver that, but it does build the base that potentially in a future stage, that information might be available.
Any other questions for staff on this issue? Hearing none.
I would move to authorize mayor to sign a contract with Washington Department of Commerce to accept a grant award contract for $44,809 to initiate the preparation of a watershed management plan for Lake Stevens.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Do you have approval? Thank you.
Thank you, council. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Sharon. The next item on here is 12B, the Axon Taser contract.
Yes, so Council President, I could speak on that really quickly here. Sorry for the short notice, but we've been working with Axon to upgrade our 5-year contract. That is our vendor that uses our body worn camera and our tasers. Our tasers are being updated with Taser 10 to the newest technology to help us de-escalate and stay up with current standards. This invoice came in just during this time where we're trying to do the 2025 budget, and it's going to save us $20,000 if we get it signed and sent back to the company. It takes about 6 to 8 months to get the tasers in, so we want to get the contract signed so we can move forward and get the equipment within 6 to 8 months. It's kind of like when we buy vehicles and how long it takes. So we're just asking for approval to get it signed. We have we've had a 5-year contract with them. We're trying to renew that and upgrade to the newest technology. We've put it into our base budget in 2025, but as we know, we're still working on that process. So if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Any questions, council? We're actually saving money.
We're trying to be fiscally responsible.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet.
I have a comment. I don't have a question. I have a comment. So I just want to commend you, Chief, for your efforts there, not only in recruiting the officers, but also in just financial aspect. But I'm looking at the report you sent out today, and I look at Lake Stevens and the crime rate in Lake Stevens relative to the rest of Washington and the nation. And I just want to, for the public, read this because the contrast is really stark. Washington State, the increase in murders is more than 5 times higher than the national average from 2019 to 2023. Violent crime has increased 19.6%, while nationally it's decreased 4.1%. Aggravated assault has increased 27.3%, while nationally it's decreased only 5.6%. Vehicle theft rates 110% increase since 2019, but it's only risen 44.9% nationally. So for Lake Stevens, that would be 283 vehicles that would have been stolen last year in Lake Stevens based on the rate for our 42,000 that we have in our city. To put that in perspective, and the robbery rate has increased 19.8% over 5 years, and they've decreased 18.5% nationally. So a lot of great work has been put in by our city, the mayor, and the chief and the city staff and our police force to help make Lake Stevens We are the 5th safest city in Washington State and the 67th safest community in the country. We are fully supporting and funding our police department. And that's reflected in some of these numbers that we had before. So thank you, Chief, for your efforts.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Can I have a motion to approve this contract?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the Axon Taser contract signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? You have a contract, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we've come to the end of our agenda. Can I have a motion to
Move to adjourn.
We have an executive session, right?
No, we didn't.
Oh, yeah, it's taking at least an hour.
Okay. Really? Oh, well. Motion to conclude our meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're done. Thank you.